Welcome to the first installment of r/AskReddit, a place where people ask and answer thought-provoking questions. Before we get started, if you enjoy my videos or just like hearing me talk, please hit that like button and consider subscribing, as this all really helps me out and pushes me to create more videos. Anyways, let's move on to the question of the day, which was posted by Minecraft Player 48. Teachers of Reddit, what was the best excuse for being late that turned out to be true? I had a student whose father had died and had not done any homework or prep for the geography class. From what I heard, the teacher scolded him for not doing so, but the student didn't want to say anything, presumably sensitive issue. So his best friend shouted at the teacher, "Don't you have any shame? His father died last night." And the teacher said, "I don't care." There was an audible gasp and I was in the next room. Needless to say, that teacher is no longer employed here. I don't know about you, but at my school, if a teacher said something like that to a student, there would have been physical violence. My sophomore year in high school, Dad died. I missed a week of school. When I got back, I tried to turn in my English assignment that was due the week I was out. Teacher wouldn't accept it, said it was late. I told her my father had just died and that's why I was out. She said, "I know, but it's still late." Went home, told my mother. The next day, the principal, my guidance counselor, and the superintendent had all contacted my teachers to rip her a new one. She had to accept my assignment. She was salty about that the rest of the year. All I can say about both these stories is what the flip. What kind of teacher, what kind of person lacks the empathy to understand what just happened to these two students? You can't expect someone to do work after something so drastic just happened. Even at work, you get bereavement leave. I'm glad the first teacher got fired, and I hope the second one got fired not too long after. She had to take her sister to school and drive her mom to rehab. She was always late to class because her mom just wanted to sleep in. Problem was, if the mom was late or did not go, she would have violated her probation and gone to prison. I never marked her late. If she missed anything important, she could come in at lunch or after school to make up. After hearing two shitty teacher stories, I'm glad that this teacher still has a head on their shoulders and a heart in their chest. Thank you for bringing my faith back in humanity. Not a student, but one of my teaching assistants when I ran a preschool in West Philly. Sorry I missed yesterday. My friend shot my mom. Naturally, I'm a little speechless. Oh no, it's okay. He was aiming for someone else. When I was a manager at a pizza place, one of the employees had the same excuse and attitude. Except he was the one who got shot. He lived in North Philly though. "It's cool," he said, "my bad." Well, okay then. 'Tis but a scratch. As much as I want to try an authentic Philly cheesesteak, I don't think I'm gonna go to Philadelphia anytime soon. I was one of about 20 kids who were late to school. We showed up at the school office as a group, and when we were questioned why we were late, we said, "The school bus blew up." They questioned, "So the engine blew up?" The kids, "No, the whole bus. In flames. It blew up." There was much conference between the teachers, all of them thinking we embellished the story. Next thing you know, one of the admin staff has the news website open. Various obvious image of an entire bus on fire, with a bunch of kids in our school uniform standing in front of it. Our late slip for the class read, "School bus blew up." If that happened, I would walk home. If you could walk. How in the world does a school bus blow up? I bet there were some troublemaking kids playing with fire in the back of the bus. Told me he got pulled over by the cops for wobbly driving on his bike and they thought he was drunk. Turned out he was just dodging all the slugs on the street. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone getting pulled over for drunk biking. The cop must have had nothing better to do. I had a 6-year-old turn up late to her lesson and blurt out, "Sorry I was late. I had to color in a bunny." Seems fair. Wise words from a kid who sounds like she has all her priorities in order. I was the student. My neighbor had a really social goat and figured out how to escape her pen in order to come over and hang out. She escaped and followed me to the bus stop. And when the bus came, she tried to follow me onto it. I couldn't actually get on the bus without her being right behind me, so I had to get off, bring her home, and call my dad to bring me to school. I imagine this story being told so casually, as if having a goat is as normal as having a dog. Me, My bus hit a bird, and the whole windshield cracked. We had to wait for another bus to pick us up. I wonder what was going faster, the bird or the bus? Flock of wild turkeys in the road. Not always school, but this happened more than once in my life. For those of you who have never found yourselves in this situation, there is no way out of it. Wild turkeys will move when they damn well decide to do so, and only then. If a bunch of wild turkeys stopped me from getting to work on time and Thanksgiving was around the corner, you better believe I'm catching one or two of them. I had a teacher who showed up about halfway through the class. Apparently her car had slid, intense snowstorm the night before, and she had to walk the last mile or so. Now that's dedication to the students. I would have just called in a sick day. A kid missed my first period class one morning, but was in school later that day. When I asked him why he hadn't arrived in time for my course, he said his cow was birthing his first calf that morning, so he'd pick being in the barn over English. Made sense to me. His essays weren't going to win any ribbons at the county fair, but his calf could. This is a solid excuse. I'd choose seeing my pets give birth over going to English class any day. I was the student. When I was in college, I opened my front door to see SWAT teams and DEA agents outside of my house. The one who looked at me was holding some kind of AR. I went back inside. From what I heard, there was a multiple string operation that happened around my town, and my neighbors got raided. I missed half of my classes that day. When I was in college, my psych professor told us that the only excuse for being late was a funeral procession. Any other reason, you wouldn't be allowed to come in. A few weeks into the semester, I was headed from one building to another, which involved crossing the main road. Lo and behold, there was one very long funeral procession going by. I got a short video of it as proof, then stood on the sidewalk to let it go by. Unfortunately, the procession made me 5 minutes late to class. I knocked on the door, and the professor came over to start to tell me off. I showed her the video. Well, I'll be damned. Come on in. I like this story because the professor actually kept her word. Also, as weird as it is to hold on to a funeral procession video, I would use that for future classes. This happened to me as a pupil. A very quiet, unassuming kid in our class came into German with about 5 minutes of class left. We went to a Catholic school, and the teachers were all quite strict and intimidating. Classes were usually silent, especially in junior school. When this boy came into class at the end of the lesson that day, the door flew inwards with such force that the teacher gave an audible gasp. It had been raining heavily outside. His hair was plastered to his forehead. His blazer was dripping and sodden. He had mud caked into his trousers up to his knees, and he was breathing heavily. The teacher exclaimed, "Brendan, what happened?" We all stared at him in shocked silence. This quiet, unassuming little boy let out a big sigh and said, "I took a shortcut," and went straight to his seat. That line became iconic in our school for years afterwards. That concludes this episode of r/AskReddit. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and subscribe, as this all really helps my channel grow and incentivizes me to create more videos. Also, I'll be posting videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, so make sure you turn on notifications so you can be notified for my next video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.